Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Aligning with Success. And I don't have a lesson per se prepared because I think that's a little redundant. All we can do at this point in time is regurgitate stuff that we already know and seek to refine and advance that in terms of your comprehension and application of it. And Mary, I'm going to defer to you a little bit later because you've been doing that consistently for now almost 2 months. No, 3 months. Wait, it's been a while. I've lost track myself. 4 months every day. So, and I asked you a specific question this week. But before we get that, I just want to say hello, everybody. Welcome back. There's 3 videos that I highly recommend if you have somebody who's asking you how to get started. You know, the process for getting people started has become simple. I mean, I think it's rather simple when you can just simply get them registered and then help them make a decision about what products to get started with. And then the question becomes really, how do I get started in terms of sharing Nikken? Now, I've never made any bones about this. My focus always has been to attract people to Nikken as a consultant, not to attract people necessarily as a consumer. And I'm not opposed to having consumers. I'm doing consistently $4,000 or $5,000 in volume every month. This month I'm over 4,000, Leo. You better be pushing hard. I'm almost at 5. Actually, I'm at 48 something. Anyway, and I joke with Leo because it's him and I. He and I are always jousting for that top spot. And it's usually him, but the last 2 months it's been me. So anyways, okay. So I want to put this on record then. 3 videos that I highly recommend somebody look into or review if you're helping somebody get started, especially learning how do I make that initial approach? How do I make that initial contact? So the first one's actually called Contact and Invite dash, it's in quotations, by the way, contact ampersand invite dash Mike DiMuccio. So that's an oldie but a goodie. I mean, that's a training that I did with Susan Carver and a few others that I thought was I mean, it's stood the test of time. It's still relevant and still very good. The second video I recommend, it has my name as a title. I'm not sure who all posted these, but they're online on YouTube. It's Michael DiMuccio dash Approaching People Effectively. Michael DiMuccio dash Approaching People Effectively. Again, another short video, a training that I did. I believe that training may have been in Utah, I'm not sure, but this kind of gives another context. Remember, context really helps people understand the information. So we need to prepare context before we start delivering information. And then the last one, the third one, is called The Fine Art of Attracting People. And that's also on YouTube. And I think between those 3 videos, and I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind checking them out, reviewing them, and maybe bringing your comments about them next week, because I'd really like to know if you feel that there is a strong to be recommended almost as a staple for helping people get going in the attracting business partners to their business. So yeah, and they're all relatively short. I think the longest one is the first one, and it's just an audio. The second 2 are videos where I'm actually doing a live training that was recorded. Particularly the third one, The Fine Art of Attracting People, I believe that's the one that I did in Salt Lake City. And that was quite good because it really gets into more of the me now, the way I would talk about the subject today in today's language, in today's terms about attracting. So hopefully that's useful for you in helping people get ramped up, maybe a refresher for yourself in how to create context for bringing people into the conversation about Nikken as a business. I had a couple of ABC calls recently that I was really, really pleased with. It seems that it's flowing out of me quite effortlessly now how to communicate what is Nikken. What is the value of being with Nikken, from the big picture right down to the minute details of how do we get somebody enrolled, how do we get somebody started. So if you guys want to use me on some ABC calls, please take advantage. I would be happy to be an A in your calls, and you'll hear what I talk about, which generally speaking starts with my story and then leads into what I think are the virtues of association with Nikken and the Nikken wellness community, and the business itself. And I even speak to the business model, how it's simple. And of course, I paraphrase a lot of the stuff that we talk about in the Better Way presentation, because that sort of parallels it, but it's different when you're talking in person with somebody. You're not presenting, you're dialoguing, you're having a conversation, and there's interaction. Anyways, so feel free to use me as an A. I tell people all the time that the only time I actually ever work is when I am on an ABC call. I don't consider anything else work. I think everything else is just wasting time and pushing paper and trying to convince yourself you're doing something that's making you worthy of your income. The truth of the matter is, I don't work hard enough, not nearly, if I measure it by ABC calls, and I would be happy to be doing more ABC calls. I did ask Mary a question recently, and today's call is going to be just an open floor. And by the way, congratulations, Leo, another 2 recruits this week. So he's the one you want to fire questions at. So we're going to do that. We're going to fire some questions at Leo. Hope you don't mind, Leo. But before we do that, I just want to go over here to Mary. Mary, you've been probably, of all the people on this call, myself included, the most consistent in terms of following a protocol on a daily basis, part of which involves your mental focus and the content of information that you're applying and reapplying so that you stay on a particular track. And the question that I asked you, because now it's 4 months, right? And I get a text from Mary every morning, late at night, I guess, but I respond in the morning, indicating what she's done for the day. And if you don't mind, Mary, I'm just going to maybe point out 1 or 2 of them. Can I do that? Do you mind?
Yeah. Okay,
so let's see. So last night's at 2:44 a.m. Eastern time, I get 23,820 SGR and PS, which stands for Science of Getting Rich, and PS for Paradigm Shift. Those are the 2 curriculums that Mary has been studying, and definitely studying is the word. So number 1, 10 gratitudes. So she did her 10 gratitudes. I assume that's gratitude statements. 2, left-hand writing. So she's doing it with left hand because it activates the right brain, which is the limbic system. It's the creative system. It's the intuitive mind. It's activating elements of our mind that we don't do often enough. And where most of our creativity comes from, it doesn't come from the left, the logic, it comes from the right. And so by doing left-hand writing, you're activating the right and making that connection, bringing that right hemisphere into your frequency. Let's see, then you did some Nikken work, which is Daniela's referral, mentioned a person, a new customer, a waterfall sale, texts as thank yous, 3 potential customers, follow up with another individual, and then 60-minute walk with SGR radio, Science of Getting Rich radio, which means she's walking, so she's getting her fitness, but she's also, interesting thing when you're doing fitness and listening to this information, you're driving it into the cells on another level. You're building neural pathways because you're physically involved and you're listening. So it creates a strong neural pathway into your consciousness. So this material starts to get really seeped into your bones. Then you did a 30-minute replay of the SGR with Bob Proctor. So that was your 5 steps that day. And some days they go even longer. There's 6 steps the day before, and sometimes they go up as high as 10. And very busy Mary. So the question that I asked Mary is, how is it affecting your business results? So it's not enough for Mary to just give me an answer off the tip of her tongue. She has to go into her genealogy and start looking at her numbers, and started reporting May's numbers, June's numbers, July's numbers, and then her numbers by August, to the date of I asked her the question with more pending, and then her objectives coming up. So let's hear it from you, your voice, not the numbers or anything like that. I want to hear from you, Mary, for somebody who's been, why would somebody on this call or listening to the playback consider applying a regimen like you do, which is working on you mentally, emotionally, and physically, because you're also usually walking when you're doing some of this stuff, but you have been doing something consistently every day. And it's not just something out of the blue. You're following a particular audio conversation, dialogue that has to do with law of attraction, has to do with the concepts that we talk about, but it's a program. Why would anybody do that? Never mind for a month. You've been doing it for 4 months. So what has been the advantage of this? If you look back over the last 4 months to the person you were 4 months ago and the person you are today, to everybody who knows you here, what's changed?
Well, I have changed dramatically in my, well, spiritually, I can say honestly that I'm much more spiritual. Emotionally,
can you define that? What do you mean by that? It means different things to different.
All right. Well, spiritually, when Bob talked about that my spiritual DNA is perfect, and that spirit is always for expansion and self expression, I really took that to heart, and I started to work with this material until I got it and understood it, that my connection to God was up and down. It was more praying for, Lord, heal this, do this, always demanding. And I would give everybody that I loved to God, but then I would take them back with my worry, with my concerns, with trying to, when my brother was dying, I was so convinced I could save him that I just ignored God and I just went to work to save Paul. That's all I thought of. I abandoned everything, including my own health, to save Paul. So that's who I was before. Right now, I would be just thanking God for helping me help Paul in any way that, we can do it. And Paul has his own journey. So I'm a different person in that way. And in Wallace D. Wattles' book, The Science of Getting Rich, he said, you could go and pray, in your own room or specific time, but that will not do anything for you. It's praying while you're working. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm praying while I'm working. I'm working with spirit. So when well, today I had a list of 10 things I was going to do, 10 people contact. And I always ask for spirit to guide me, to be with me. It's a different spiritual journey that I'm on. And I call it my Royal Diamond journey. And I'm saying, Spirit, I don't know, how I'm going to do it because I've never done it, right? So there's no clue. However, I also, on my gold card, I also have that, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it'll be open to you. So that's
okay. So I get it. What you're saying is, what it's helped you to do is integrate the idea that prayer is not a symbolic gesture. it is an active living component of your being.
Yeah.
You're in a constant state of prayer.
I am.
I call
And
that contemplative, by the way, the contemplative state. You're in a state of contemplation always,
yeah.
aware of your connection with the divine, aware of the continuity of the divine's role in your life as it expresses through you,
Yeah.
and you invite it to do so,
Yeah.
which
And
is important.
yeah, absolutely. And what I did, I followed the homework to the letter with Bob Proctor, and I even did more than he said. Like this left-hand writing, he does it every day. So I think, well, he's doing it. I'm going to do it as well. That's one thing. And the gratitude list of the 10 gratitude, I did it. I wrote it for months. For about 2 months, I wrote everything down. However, I was not really that grateful for anything. I didn't have it emotionally. I didn't have it in my heart, the brain heart coherence. It wasn't there. And then I started listening more about gratitude. And in the Science of Getting Rich, chapter 7, he really is specific about gratitude and how to do it. And then I started writing it where each statement was what I was feeling. I was feeling grateful. And so my number 10 gratitude is always the same. I'm so happy and grateful that I had a good night's sleep, and I woke up this morning to a brand new, beautiful day. So I'm so grateful that God gave me another day. That's the gratitude. That's my gratitude number 10. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, okay, so there's the mental, the spiritual, the emotional. I imagine emotionally, then we haven't really said anything, but well, gratitude is an emotion, so
Yeah.
it's a mental condition. But it, what are you seeing in terms of activity in your business as a result of that? How's your activity changed, and how are your results?
Okay, so again, in the book, as I'm walking and listening, I hear about like spirit is all for perfection and doing things in an efficient way, and not an efficient and an inefficient way. So I have changed everything I do in my life, and specifically with Nikan, always looking at the being having perfection in what I do and doing things in an efficient way. So, and when I say doing it in an efficient way, is giving myself a list of things I'm going to do and doing them to the best of my ability. Before I would say, okay, I'm going to contact 6 people, and so I'm going to send them a text. And then I've done it. I've sent the text. So now I say to myself, what else can I do to make this, to increase the level of the activity, to be in a perfect state in whatever I do, and also to make it efficient. Because he says, the more efficient things you do each day, the better you're going to be, the more successful you're going to be. And also, the other thing I do is you do it in the present moment. There's no past, there's no future, it's only the present. So whatever you set for yourself, you do it today. You don't do it, leave it for tomorrow. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it.
Okay, you lost me a little bit on that part of the efficiency.
Okay.
So you send a text message, you say you're going to do 6 text messages, and then you went on, you talked about efficiency, but how did you change? Well, how is it more efficient? Like what's different about you sending a text message?
Well, a good example today, I sent a text message this morning, and I wanted, this is a customer, and I've talked to her now for a month to become a registered, to go on auto ship because she's going to save 25%. So I sent her a text Monday morning. I know she's off. And by 3 o'clock, I would have just left it before. By 3 o'clock, I thought, oh, Catherine's not responding. I sent her another message. Can I call you tonight? That's being more efficient in contacting with her.
Okay, cool.
So, and she called me back, and now we're going to meet on Thursday. So,
Okay, good,
so
good.
I've done that in a very efficient way.
Okay, excellent. And then, okay, so now with respect to results over the last 4 months, how is that different than the results you were getting prior?
Prior, I was always at the same level. I would just, get my 500 points. And every month it's increased. And my goal for August was double July. And I think I'm going to even outdo that. I'm going to double my commission value CV.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
And that's a goal, right? You established a goal. Okay, so so then were you setting goals prior to that? Other than, I guess, the 500, was that a goal?
Yeah, that was a goal, but they were not solid goal. It was not a committed goal. It wasn't an invested goal.
It was just, okay, let me say that I did that, and then I do it or I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now you're true to yourself. You're being true to your word. You're being true to your commitment.
Yeah, I'm being true to God. I'm being true to myself. And I have a lot of dreams, and they were just fantasy things. So I now believe that I could accomplish my dreams. I really believe in myself. And I also believe that doesn't matter what I did and how badly I screwed up. And you and I have talked about that. I am worthy of, becoming successful again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you could tell anybody, and I'm not saying to you, Mary, I'm just saying this in general to the audience. Can you imagine being able to tell somebody that I'm going to show you something you can do every day, that in 4 months' time, you're going to have a completely new outlook on life, on yourself. The past will not equal the future, and you'll be able to write your own ticket. And who wouldn't want that? So you've given us reason to seek and find our own routine. Now, is there anything you might recommend, by the way?
I will recommend The Science of Getting Rich, the book, or using Bob Proctor's book if you don't have the time or the money to invest in his program. He has a free copy you could download of You Were Born Rich, and he's offering that. So those are.
And I guess Bob is at proctorgallagher.com?
Yeah. The Proctor Gallagher, PGIinstitute.com. Yeah.
Okay. So wait, so is it PGIinstitute.com or is it proctorgallagherinstitute.com?
proctorgallagherinstitute.com.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. And by the way, you guys all know how I feel about the materials that Bob shares with the world. It's been, at the root of my education. So fundamental, I think. But the thing that turns it to life, that makes it a living prayer, is the fact that you apply it every day. So whatever it is that you're doing, my daughter has convinced me that meditation is something that is key, is critical. Meditation, in a sense, is doing the same thing. It's getting into the spirit of the present moment. And that way from that space, you're able to create without being tainted by the past or anxious about the future. It's almost like we've gone over this a number of times, but you're creating from a place where your potency to create is maximized. Mm-hmm. For instance, if you're really angry and you're feeling the emotion of anger, it's going to be pretty hard to send love to somebody. You're just not in the frequency that's compatible. So if you're trying to manifest things, a goal, an outcome, and you're not in a vibration that's compatible with that, then it's going to be exceedingly difficult to see that ever happen. So how do we get into the vibration where we're in alignment with whatever it is we want to manifest? Well, the first place to do is to get neutral, to get to 0 point, because then you're not harboring any emotions one way or the other. You get to that 0 point. And at that 0 point, where you are no thing, no one, nowhere, you are just in the awesomeness of being, then that connection to the divine, that moment in time, you're in a place where you can now create without attachment to anything, any past, any perception of who you are, or limited by any perception of who you may have been. So it's in that place that you're most potent. You're delivering the seed into the soil where the soil is most fertile, when it's most receptive to receive. So meditation, prayer, contemplation. I find reading, particularly the books that I read, are contemplative. I'm halfway through a book that my daughter is just absolutely thoroughly enjoying right now. It's the autobiography of a yogi. If you haven't read that one, boy, you're in for something. Pretty special book. Anyways, let's switch gears now. Thanks, Mary, for giving us a bit of your insights. And if anybody has a question for Mary, feel free to jump in before we tag team Leo. Anybody have a question for Mary? Okay, cool. Well then, Leo, our master recruiter, who just sponsored 2 new people this week, who you met earlier this week, or last week, I guess. You heard his story on the call, on the Zoom-in call the week before last. And you know that Leo is always in the top 5, usually in the top 2 spots for group volume, PGV, every month in Canada. One of the top recruiters in North America. And again, if there's a theme in this call, it's consistency. There's something that he does every single day, a rhythm that he lives by, that is making a difference in his results. And what we know about this concept is that it's compounding. That whatever it is that you do on a daily basis, it compounds. So if you're in the habit of drinking healthy water, you're compounding that into a healthy state. If you're in the habit of eating junk food on a daily basis, then that's also compounding in the wrong sense of the word. So whatever it is that we do, and we do with regularity on a daily basis, is having a compound effect. If it's money related, then you're compounding, you're building your portfolio. So Leo, we know a lot about Leo's story. If you haven't heard it, the one thing I can tell you that he does with absolute consistency is contact at least 2 new people per day. He has a regimen by which that's sort of, he doesn't go to sleep until that happens. So you might want to ask him, how is he making that possible? What does he do with everybody? And then how does that translate into business? And I'm going to just open the floor. I want everybody to, here's your chance to pick his brain. So pick it.
Where do you, go ahead. Leo, congratulations. Yes. You're wonderful. Where do you find new people?
Restaurant.
You said Facebook. Is it mainly Facebook?
Facebook, restaurant. Every day I go to coffee.
Okay.
And I just watch around me. Last weekend, a guy outside take a coffee at my water, read a book, and you have a dog. I'm just, what's the name of your dog? Pablo. Oh, it's fine. And I began starting with the guys. It's Italian, Franco, and I use my system to receive an email. That's it. I do that every day.
So if you don't know his system is the one thing that he wants to leave that conversation with is an email address of the individual. Because once he has that, he then has an email approach where he has a system of emails, a campaign, if you will, of emails that he begins with to drip into a conversation and help somebody explore what this is all about. Now, we have published his email campaign, and it's been translated in English by Dennis Williams, and that was published. If there's something if you haven't seen it and you'd like to get a copy of it, just send me a WhatsApp message and I'll make sure you get the link to it. My WhatsApp number, for those of you who don't have my contact info, is 1-416-409-5800. So send me a WhatsApp and say, hey, you mentioned Leo's system, and then I'll forward the link to you. And it's basically an email campaign. Yeah.
Mike,
Yes,
can you
Mike.
email that? I'm sorry, I can't do WhatsApp. It's not compatible with my iPad, and I don't have a smartphone. So is it possible if I shoot you an email that you would
Sure.
email me the link?
Good Vibes, INTL, short form for international, @gmail. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, go ahead, Yoko.
Leo, I know that you go and do this every day, but I've never asked you if you don't get a contact, will you spend the whole day there, or how long do you spend? What's your time frame, or do you have one?
For the restaurant,
Yes.
in a couple hours, nobody come to my place. I'm alone, but I prefer to go to restaurant and check around me and just begin the conversation. But I don't have no judgment, no attend. That's me, attend.
No,
No attend.
No agenda.
No judgment. I talk everybody. I just want the email address. That's it. And I don't care. And if it's a yes or not to Nikan, I don't care.
no attachment.
No attachment. That's it. No attachment for nobody. I just want the email, and I let my system work for me. You know, and I always say to them, I know it's not for you, but you have many friends, maybe need what I do.
So he uses the indirect approach. It's probably not for you, probably nothing you'd be interested in. However, you know a lot of friends, a lot of people that this could be really useful for.
Last week, I was with Alain Papacocha, you know him?
Yeah.
We just talked, me and him. We have two girls just said. I'm sure she was Italian. She speaks, I said, do you think she's Italian? I don't know. We got to ask her, hey, girl, are you Italian? No, I'm from Syria. Syria? No, not Iran. But she speaks French very well. And I began a conversation and I received 2 emails.
So then that's what I was going to say, because I'm a woman, okay, and if some guy comes up to me and asks for my email, well,
He's not just asking for your email.
Oh, okay.
There's a conversation that starts.
Okay, so just like, hey, how was your day? That kind of thing. Is that a deal?
I'm interested to them first. I ask many questions. What do you work? What do you do? Are you have family, kids, dogs, everything? You know, I'm interested in them. And a moment he said, and you, what do you do? Yes, that's what I want. And I said, I'm a consultant, Japanese technology with the magnetic and foreign thread. And what the hell is that? It sounds good. Sure, but I don't have the time to explain to you. Do you have an email?
So you're doing the form, I got you. And then, yeah, the FORM, which is, the friends or whatever. Got it.
I just had because I sent to him 4 emails. Explain what I need to explain, but if I pass in a restaurant to talk, I have to many hours. That nobody wants to do that.
No.
That's what I do many years ago, and nobody quit my group because I don't want to do what you do.
Right.
That's why I find sometimes that nobody now can say that. My people can work in weekend. I'm 5 and 10 hours a week. It's good enough. You have enough. You can, okay. That's why I choosing me for signed up, because he looked my system and said, oh, I can do that. That's why I signed before many years ago. I signed 2 or 3 a year.
Mhm.
3 a year, and I work so hard,
Mhm.
4, 5, 6 day a week, 1,000 kilometers a
Mhm.
week for do a meeting, blah blah blah. Phew. For 2 or 3 a year, and I'm the top of my group. Imagine, I'm the top of my group. And no customer before that. And with my system, every month I sign 1 or 2 and 3 or 4 customers every month.
I'm glad I asked again because I know you told me this before, but it's nice to hear it again. And this time I think I got more. So I'll make my mom will keep on maybe asking you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yesterday I do a meeting with a group, my new consultant, and somebody sent me, I'm interested to comforter. How is it cost? I sell a comforter yesterday. I just have to do it tomorrow. You know, love of attraction, because my focus is to be diamond before Christmas, before this year, end of this year. Okay, just that I want to focus, and I help 7 people to be go. Okay, that's it. I don't know where. I said I need 7. That's it. That's all. And every day I meditation, read a book, CD in English for practice my English, and Zoom call every Monday. My 5th Zoom today, just today. My 5th, the last one, I hope. My 5th is today. I'm regular. It's easy. I have fun because I just talk. Blah, 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 blah. Email. And somebody told me many years ago, the guys I signed this, the new one is the guys that signed with me last year, just for have 20% rebate, off
Discount.
discount. I'm respect that. But last week I called a friend of him. I know her, and I made a meeting. I signed her. I said, "Guy, you have a choice." He presented me. He's the other one yesterday. Signed her too. He's too excited. He don't know how he work, but he had 1,000 over 1,000 point now. He don't know how his work weekend again. I'm action.
The leader, we have a question here from Mary Browser. How
Yep.
long do you wait to send the second email after you send the first one?
Same way. I sent the 4th email
All at one time?
one time, and I have the other one for follow up 4 or 5 days after.
Okay.
And you should see the Iran girl. I sent the email, and today, when I have a time, I said, "Are you on Facebook? Are you on Facebook? I'm your new friend on Facebook. Go ahead." Lemay. And today she said, "Thank you so much to have a follow. I check on that and see you this week." That's girl I meet her last with Alain last week. But I don't attachment. I just let it go. I have to made a meeting, before when I have a one contact, I keep it. I want to sign. You better sign. You better sign. But now I'm.
Yeah. You become covetous of your list of your contact if you only have a few.
Yeah.
And then you basically try to, we call that hatching a China egg. You try to sit on them until you take that to some place. Whereas when your practice is to contact new people every day.
See, I have 29 pages for 3 old school.
So keeping it simple. So yeah, if you've got contacts every day and you never run out because you have a method to your approach that you just, as long as you're out there in the world, you're making new contacts, then you don't fear not having contacts. Then all you want to do is have flow. Keep the flow of information, new contacts, flow the information, and you will see who's interested, who's not, by virtue of the process.
No pressure. Yesterday the young girl, she don't speak English. That's why she's so excited about it. Gosh, it's simple what you do. I want to do that, and she's so excited to come to Hawaii. Show her to how to go to Hawaii. She just signed today. We met her yesterday. That's it. But everybody because I'm simple, no pressure. I don't try to sell a product. I don't try to sell. I just have fun. my appointment joke. Mike, and so you know that. I just have a fun. Explain that. No, I'm not serious. I'm very not. How do you work? I don't know. I never know. Say, can read? I send you an email. You just read. You can see a video. I just look a video. And you can do a great video anyway. That's it. The video on the bottle is fine. The waterfall. Why I explain that an hour? Take my time to explain how you work the waterfall. Just look a video, 6 minutes, better than me. Okay.
Very good. Very good.
One of me email, I have a presentation for the testimony, not the testimony, the test with the insult. Okay, it's 2 minutes. I find that I don't know where.
Oh, is that the one with Vance Rogers,
I think yes.
where he stands on somebody's back, you know, he's pushing down? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when I'm in the restaurant, there are a crowd. I don't give up this the crowd, you know. I just show. You see, when you on my look at that. Jeez, that's it. Give me your email. You will receive the rest.
Interesting. So
Easy to duplicate. That's important. It's easy to duplicate.
That's my question, Leo.
Yeah.
Who has duplicated you? Did some of the people that you've recruited, if you're recruiting 1 or 2 a month, are they using this?
Yes.
Your recruits.
Yeah. So
you're getting 2 and 3 levels deep in one of the legs. It's happening using your system.
Yeah, I just use my system. It's easy. I do an email, but bottom, top or bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Leo Lemay, consultant. You just have to change that. Nothing is ready. You just have to change. Put your name, put my name out, put your email address, you know. Easy. Easy. Nobody can say, things are, that's it.
So we're getting back to the first question or the first statement, which is this: if you make it simple, the simpler it is as it becomes simpler. By the way, the reason why it's that way now, because I found myself saying this in one of my ABCs. When I first got started, the only way you would ever learn about NICAN is through somebody like me, through a consultant, because the internet didn't even exist. So you couldn't go online and look NICAN up. So we controlled the information and the flow of information. That's no longer true. Before you finish a conversation, a person can have NICAN up on their phone and see, you know, any number of things. So we no longer are the harbinger of information. And therefore, we don't need to hoard the information. We just need to make it available in a streamlined fashion. But the only thing that's going to get somebody's attention is the relationship, the connection that you have with people. So it's moved away from you being a presenter, which it used to be very heavily based on your ability to present. It's moved away from your ability to present information. Now you just facilitate them getting information to just the relationship, your rapport with people. And therefore the work that Mary is doing is very, very relevant when you look at how does she perceive herself and how is she therefore going to be perceived by others. If you're doing that personal development, if you're creating that divine connection on a daily basis, and you know that your spirit is for expansion and you're constantly aligned with gratitude, you're going to be able to go out into the world like Leo does without apprehension, without reservation, without thinking, oh, what are they going to think of me if I talk to them? You're not going to have those thoughts. So the world that Leo lives in and the transition from maybe where you've been and where you want to go is the work that it takes to develop oneself. As we develop ourselves, we become more we become more people-based, more personality. We're more into the connection of the person rather than what do I know? How can I impress this person? And so your conviction about who you are and what you're doing is what they're going to read. They're sensing that about you. And so when you say, like Leo does with confidence, I can't talk to you right now, I don't have the time, but do you have an email address? What are they going to say? No, I don't have an email address. Who doesn't have an email address? So they'll give you the email address. And there you go. And that begins the next part of the journey, which is now they get to check out something and see if it is attractive to them. He doesn't have to convince them. He doesn't have to present. They're doing it on their own time. People can save a lot of time if they have a system. So this approach is working. It's working. And like I said, Leo's very consistent with his PGV, his group volume, is always in the top 2 in Canada, all of Canada. So that says a lot for what he's doing. And even if you adopted a part of it, I'm sure you're going to get a lot further than you are now. And so what's the lesson here? The lesson is, do you have a system? Because if you don't, if you're just shooting from the hip, it's going to be hard to teach somebody how to do that, to duplicate that. And the business of growing a network is all about being able to duplicate a system. You know, Uber is Uber because they have a system. They're able to get their drivers on that system, and the drivers are able to adopt that system. That's why they're successful. So what's your system? Niken has given you a platform, but that's not a system. That's maybe a system for getting a product from Niken's warehouse to a consumer, yes. For enrolling a downline, yes. There's a system for the logistics of our business. But to attract people and duplicate that, to attract customers, to attract followers, what's your system? Is it just hit and miss? Or do you have something that you can do every single day with some degree of consistency that compounds and produces results also with some degree of consistency? Any other questions for Leo?
Leo, yes, I have a question because you sort of faded out on my end, at least when Mary asked about your sequencing. Do you send the first one, then wait for a response? What's that process? Can you give a little more detail on that? Or do you send several things at once?
Oh, well, just to recap for him, he sends 4 emails in one shot.
Okay.
So it's boom, 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 boom. They get them all in their inbox. And if you haven't seen those emails, like I said, drop me a note. It has been posted. It's been on the Launch Partners chat. I'm not sure, it may even be on the tools chat. But we can get you that sequence of emails that he does. And the French that was translated by Dennis Williams into English. And I think Dennis, he took the ideas of the videos that Leo shares, which are French videos, and he sort of married it with an English version of that.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
My system is translated in Germany.
Good. So essentially then his system is meet 2 new people every day, get their email address, and then start the email campaign, which takes them to the next conversation if they're interested. By the way, Leo, do you ever have people who are not interested?
Not really.
Oh, wow.
Really. Oh, well, I'm funny guy. I just go take a coffee, blah, blah, blah. He's so cool. So when he asked me what I do, Japanese company, ambassador, human being more, blah, blah, blah. In Quebec say, wow, what's that? Sounds good. I said, it sounds good. Do you have any address? I give you more information. Maybe, probably it's not for you, but maybe you have friends are good for them. Okay, I send it to him. You see my video in French where I do a test and 1,200 views. That I don't have to do a meeting.
Wait, did you do the video of the test?
Yeah, my fourth email is me and Kim.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
The video that you did.
Training video for my consultant.
Yeah.
Training, but I'm a nice guy. The right guy said, I know it's for recruiting because when I talk to somebody, I can have an appointment on her house. Yesterday, what I do yesterday, I prefer to go to do a test live, you know. But if I say I don't have a time or live in Quebec and 1 hour to my place, no, no problem with that. I send to my video and let my video do a job for me.
Perfect. It reminds me, you know, of something that I did many years ago. I was at a, I had two legs going for silver the same month. I launched them. And one was in Long Island, and the other one I think was in Toronto. But I had to go to an event in Hawaii. So I was actually not available to be there. And when they got wind of this, because of my trainings, they know in my trainings, I say, we're going to do an in-home, and don't worry, I'll you know, make sure that you get a really good presentation. Well, when they learned that I was going to be in Hawaii when they were going to be having in-homes, they thought, well, who's going to do our in-homes? And I said, don't worry, I got two of the best presenters in all of Nikan who's going to come and do your in-homes. And what did I send them? I sent them a VHS of two of our best presenters doing an in-home, doing a presentation. And all they had to do was push power, push play, we call it the power play, and they would play that video up until the point where they do the demos, and then they pause, and then they do the insole demo that I taught them how to do, the energy test. And then they would push, so everybody would be like, wow, this is amazing. And then they would push play, and the video would finish explaining the idea. And so they had, in that month, both teams, weekly presentations, sometimes 2 in 1 week. Both went silver, and I wasn't there to do one single presentation. I was there to do some ABC calls afterwards as follow-up, but a phone is easy. So the point is, we knew what had to get done, but we figured a way to get it done. We leveraged the tools. And so what Leo's system is to leverage the tools. Let the tools do the work, do the talking. And then your job is just to get people who are open to the idea and become really good at networking. I mean, wow, what a concept. We call this network marketing, and you got to get good at networking. Oh no, seriously? I got to get good at networking in network marketing? So yeah, what does it mean to be a networker? Network. Who do you know? Ask people. Who do you know? Ask people. Who do you know? I could really use some help here. Who do you know? I've got a great idea, a great project. I'm looking for some help. Who do you know? Maybe it's not for you. I love that line, Leo. You know, that's one of the things I always use in my contact invite. You'll hear that in my contact invite. One of the things I always tell you to say, always say it. This may not be for you. Mm-hmm. The second you say that to somebody, you're no longer selling them.
That's true. Same thing with I was with yesterday with my two new consultants in the same place. Yeah, I just said to her, it's possible to you to send one email a day. Of course. Yeah, you are in business with me.
So that's the job description. Can you send an email a day? Yeah. Okay, great. Then you can be in business with me. Okay, again, it's the idea of how simple is this and how simple can you make it? If it's complicated in your mind, then you're going to communicate a complex idea. If it's simple in your mind, you're going to communicate its simplicity. And people are looking for solutions, but most people feel underqualified in almost anything. They all feel like, well, that's not me, I couldn't do that. But if it's so simple and you make it sound simple because it is, because in your mind it is, because you figured out how to make it simple, then all of a sudden, this is not a complex idea. This is a simple idea that has great benefits, huge benefits.
This was a wonderful call, Leo. Mike, I appreciate this. Really does. The simple, really, we really all need that, man. I'm telling you. Thank you. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mike.
Well, We have time for one
Mike?
call. Yeah, Maureen?
I got one question. Something Leo said brought this question up. How in this COVID time do we demonstrate the products like physically, especially if you got a new person, since we're not supposed to be close?
40 mil.
Well,
Sorry, what?
I don't know if you guys have been paying much attention, but do you notice how Fauci seems to be going back and forth on everything? Like he doesn't have an opinion. It's just somebody telling him what to say, when to say it. And now they're walking back another opinion, probably because there's an indictment sitting out there for him. But the point is, this idea that, by the way, if you haven't seen my Facebook post, go check it out today. I was sent this apparently 2 years ago, twice in the court in Ontario, the face mask thing. It was the Nurses Association who took the hospital to court and won twice. So this case is done. I mean, the idea of a face mask being something of any use in this situation, in the case that they were fighting was for influenza, and that's what we're dealing with. So the whole notion of a face mask and the need for it is just a smokescreen for what's really going on. But besides that, if you have one on, there's no reason why you can't do that. I mean, you know, if you have the face mask, if you believe it's actually doing anything, then, and they have one on, then whether you're 6 feet apart or not is really inconsequential. But what Leo's saying is, I don't even need to do it physically. I can just show them the video. Now, it wouldn't stop me from doing it personally. I am not subscribed to the COVID nonsense, period. If you want to ask me personally how I have come to such a steep decision about that, conclusion about that, I'd be more than happy to present the scientific evidence, because it's science, not fiction or politics. So you can do a test in person, wearing a mask if you choose. You can show the video, which allows you then to do demonstrations where you're not even physically there. That means you can expand your network outside of the physical limitation of actually having to be with somebody, which is really cool, especially if you're looking to build a network that's geographically beyond your own environment, your own location. And I think that's really important to get a handle on. Get good at that, because then you really have no limitation. And not everybody is going to need to have that one demonstration. That's a great demonstration, but there are other ways to demonstrate the products. So for instance, have you seen the water test video? Have you ever come across one of those where they do the OTO drops or the pH drops, and you see the difference in the alkalinity of the water or the chlorine in the water? Create a video. That might be something you want to do yourself. As Leo did video in his 4th email, it's a video of him doing the test, the strength test. And so if you're going to duplicate this system of emails, why not have somebody video you on your iPhone doing a test yourself? You can upload your video to your YouTube channel, and then you have you doing the video, you doing the test. And then it's even more impactful because it's you doing it. So I don't know if that answers your question. Does that answer your question, Maureen?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so do it. Somebody's asking, Dee wants to hear me after I stop recording. Yeah, because right now it's being recorded. As soon as I publish this live, who knows what Facebook or YouTube will do with this video. They're screening for words and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so if you don't see this video published, oh well. The big bad Gestapo's out there making sure that we don't get the truth out. Listen, it's 9:50 or it's 10, so our time is up, but thanks for chiming in, plugging in. Thanks, Leo, for your insights and info. Thank you, Mary, for your contribution to the idea of a daily routine. A daily routine. Remember, we're in the business of compounding time and money through our network. And we do that by doing something on a daily basis with consistency that produces results. And one area that we want to do consistently is get our head in the right space, because that's going to dictate how we come across to people. And then the other thing that Leo was talking about is actually meeting people, connecting with people, whether it's by phone, video, or in person at a restaurant or a coffee shop. How you come across is going to open the doorway to a process. And if your process is a system like the one Leo's referring to, where it's just sending information to people, letting them review it on their own time, and then following up, then what you might find is that you have a consistent business. Your business is open every day, and there's consistently people reviewing information every day, and there's consistently people making choices about getting involved with you as a consumer or as a consultant. You're building your network. And as you build your network and teach them to do the same, you duplicate your network, keeping it simple. Yeah, Leo, last comment?
Yes, just tonight before the meeting, consultant in my group is so excited because he have an appointment with a professional of health. I don't know what. He have an appointment this afternoon, and he wished to talk about Nikan. She sounds good. He said, yes, do you have your email? I send you 4 emails. That's it. Leo, I have somebody for you. Can you talk to her? No, he do the same thing what I do. He asks her to email, and I have to talk to him. He fixed it. I have to talk to him after the meeting. Easy, you know?
Awesome.
He just asked the email, sent to her, for me.
So that's it. It takes the stress out. It takes the need to be a presenter out. So now that makes it possible for anybody to do the business, because you don't have to be this eloquent speaker who knows everything about Nikan. And if you're brand spanking new, what do you know? So good stuff. Well, great. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks you guys again for your contribution, your great questions, everybody. And hopefully this will help you advance your Nikan business. Cheers. Have a good night.